Game of Thrones, yeah! Is it time for season 3 yet? Pumped!
Almost, robot. Calm down.
Pumped.
You're gonna poke your eye out with that sword I made you, so be careful, okay?
Oh, nuts.
What's wrong, robot?
I just got too excited for Game of Thrones and I blew a fuse. I've forgotten everything that happened in season 1 and 2, oh no!
Really? Can't remember anything.
Look at all these people. Who's that guy? I don't know. Game of Thrones is so complicated, I've exceeded my memory bandwidth allocation.
Don't worry, robot. It's gonna be okay. Not only will I update your memory banks with all the pivotal characters and families of Westeros, but I'm gonna go the extra mile and give you all the history that's missing from the show. I'm gonna give you a full history of the Targaryens. We're gonna talk about the Lannisters, the Starks, and more. So you and you will be ready for Game of Thrones Season 3. Okay, so let's start with the Targaryens. I know you know about Daenerys and Viserys Targaryen from the show, but do you know the whole story of the Targaryen family? I think not. There's generations upon generations of crazy shit going on within this crazy friggin' family. I'm gonna tell you how they rose to power over the Seven Kingdoms, how they ruled Westeros through the greatest dynasty the Seven Kingdoms has ever seen, how they eventually fell from power, and how that led up to the events of Game of Thrones Season 1.
Okay, alright, I'm on board now.
The thing is, a lot of viewers of the show don't know about the rich, complex prehistory of this world. It extends back 12,500 years. There's so much to talk about. They don't talk about it in the show as much. They touch on it, but they can't really go into detail like they do in the books. And I'm gonna give you a little bit at a time as we go on through the series.
Songs and histories from the Seven Kingdoms.
So when Game of Thrones starts, we're in 298 AL. Now AL stands for After Aegon's Landing. Now that's how crazy and significant the Targaryens are, because they have measurements of time named after them. Now in this day and age, a lot of people don't really believe in magic anymore because it's been gone for so long. Like White Walkers came around 8,000 years ago or something, so people just think that's kind of like a fairy tale at this point.
Grumpkins and Snocks and all the other monsters your wetness warned you about. You're a smart boy. You don't believe that nonsense.
Some people don't even believe the dragons ever existed, okay? They're just like, what? I don't know. I fish all day. I have no idea what a dragon is. I don't care. So if you want to know more about the Targaryens, you have to start with where they came from originally, Valyria. Now, Valyria isn't even around anymore. It used to be this peninsula extending off the coast of Essos. So back in the day, there's all these Valyrian people with white hair and purple eyes, and they had all this magic going on. Like, I don't know what was going on in Valyria, but I do know there was a lot of crazy-ass magic going on that's still unexplained to this day. Valyria was this old magical island where they made all this crazy Valyrian steel that was like infused with magic and sorcery and spells. Like a lot of the great houses, including the Starks, have a sword made of Valyrian steel that they pass down generation to generation, okay? And they don't know how to make this shit anymore, okay?
Valyrian steel.
Like nobody knows how to make it.
This is Valyrian steel.
So the Valyrians were the first people to discover dragons. There was all these dragons layering in the 14 fires of Valyria. They found the dragons, they tamed them through their crazy weird magic, started riding them around, and then started kicking everyone's ass with them.
For dragons are fire made flesh, and fire is power.
So one day, one of the Targaryen girls has this vision where she sees this destruction come upon Valyria. She tells her dad, he believes her. So the Targaryens decide to move from Valyria. They annex Dragonstone Island off the coast of Westeros, set up camp there, and then 100 years later, the prophecy comes true. The doom of Valyria comes down, the 14 fires, the volcanoes explode all over the place, killing all the other Valyrians, all the other noble houses, and all the other dragons. The Targaryens are now the last Valyrian noble house with the last dragons. So generations later, after they set up camp on Dragonstone, this one Targaryen, Aegon, decides that he just wants to fucking conquer all of Westeros. So he gets his two sister wives, Rhaenys and Visenya, okay? And the Targaryens marry brother to sister, like uncle to niece. It's really weird. It's a Valyrian thing. The Targaryens are inbred. That's why some of them go crazy, okay? Side note. So Aegon and his two sister wives, Rhaenys and Visenya, get on their dragons, they fly over to Westeros, and they kick everyone's ass and make 6 of the 7 kingdoms bend the knee. During one particular event known as the Field of Fire, 4,000 men are burned alive by dragon fire. Everyone's like slaughtered, so Aegon the Conqueror becomes the first king of Westeros. And then they rule for 300 years unbroken.
The brave men rode them from Valyria to build a greater civilization this world has ever seen.
The reason that the dragon has 3 heads on the sigil is to symbolize Aegon and his 2 sister wives. So I know that you've heard that the Iron Throne was forged by dragonfire, and I'm gonna tell you how that happened. So when Aegon the Conqueror came over and he conquered all the kingdoms, he took like over 1,000 swords from all the people that he conquered, and then he had it forged into the Iron Throne with the dragon fire of Balerion the Black Dread, the dragon that he fucking rode around on. And he made it really uncomfortable because he thought that no king should ever sit easy. And kings are always cutting themselves in this fucking thing because it's literally forged out of real fucking swords with points and blades.
Say what you will about the Targaryens, they were conquerors. That is a seat for a conqueror.
Fast forward the Targaryen bloodline 300 years and you get Mad Aerys Targaryen, the last of the Targaryen kings of Westeros. He was totally nuts. He couldn't get a boner without watching someone burn alive. He was like totally pulling the Howard Hughes thing with the fingernails and the paranoia. Now he had 3 kids with his sister, Rhaegar, Viserys, and Daenerys. Now Rhaegar, the eldest, was totally beloved. He was super handsome. Everyone thought he was awesome. They were excited about him being the king. But then Rhaegar done fucked up when he absconded with Lyanna Stark. Totally fell in love with her and kidnapped her, which sparked Robert's rebellion because Robert was betrothed to Lyanna. So Robert kills Rhaegar on the Trident, smashes the royal troops, which leads up to Jaime Lannister's decision to put a sword through his own king, even though he is a Kingsguard member. Okay, you're supposed to protect the king, not kill the motherfucking king. He's like, you know what, screw it, these guys are going down right now anyways. Puts a sword through him, puts him out of his misery. Everyone's relieved, even though everyone gives shit to Jaime about it, but whatever, that's next, that's coming up later. So Viserys and Daenerys are the last 2 Targaryens left, and they are whisked across the narrow sea as children to escape, so they are not murdered like all the other Targaryens. So then Viserys and Daenerys are totally on their own. They stay at this mansion with a red door for a while until their benefactor dies, and they're shooed out. Then they have to go from city to city. Viserys has to beg people to take them in. He's known as the Beggar King. He gets really fucking bitter about it after a while. He falls in with this merchant Illyrio who helps him sell his sister to a Dothraki horse lord so he can get some troops, some Dothraki horse lord troops.
I give him a queen, and he gives me an army.
I don't want to be his queen.
So he can hopefully gain some Dothraki troops so he can go across the narrow sea and take back his motherfucking throne because he is entitled and he believes that that is his throne because technically, if you went through births, then yeah, it would be his throne.
So he